So we'll do the same process. Press Command I on the keyboard to bring up the import data. Come in here, and this is where it becomes really nice that everything's all organized. So just double check to make sure that this circular graphic is the composition we want, and it looks like it is. We'll come back into our pre-comp and we'll drop in our circular graphic. Again, we'll make it a 3D layer and we'll scale it down. About 25 was good for the last one. And we'll just take this and now we'll position it off to the right. And maybe we'll shrink that down even more to about 20. And again, we'll just pick whip this to our track null. And now if we come to the beginning here, you can see that as our layers build on, we're actually seeing the outline of that composition. The way to get rid of that is to come down here and just check this continually rasterized box. And now we get a comp that's linked directly to our scene and is actually using the 3D camera in our current setup. And you can see that as we move, you can actually see the difference and the spacing between our 3D layers from our rectangular composition. And again, we can just position this in space a little better. If we move it over to the right and grab the Z arrow and just push it back in Z space a little bit, we won't get quite as much motion out of it. And so if we scrub along, you can see that this graphic is a little further out than our first one, but is attached to our motion track. And here we get a little overlap. It's actually fine with me, but if you want, again, just feel free to position your graphics however you want. We can push it back a little further in Z space and slide it out over to the right side. And maybe even give that a little rotation on our y-axis. Now I actually don't like what that continual rasterized button did to our graphic. And that's because it started using the camera in this current scene instead of the original camera we had set up in our animation. So we're just going to cheat a little bit to get rid of those borders when our graphic animates on. And this is actually looking a lot better, and we'll maintain our original depth of field, which I really like. So we're just going to cheat a little, and we're going to select our composition. We're going to come up to the mask tool. We're going to select the ellipse. We're just going to double click on that to create a mask. Scrub back in time a little when things are building on. We'll press F on the keyboard. We'll just feather our mask out, maybe 300 pixels. We'll twirl down this arrow. We'll take our mask expansion and we'll just start bringing that in. So now we don't have such a harsh border. And you can see that as we scrub through, everything builds on really nicely. We don't see that harsh outline. We have both our original animations in place.